cards, kind of sticking out here in this list. You've got Mulch in the 70 in the list somewhere as well. Probably not. Maybe for this matchup. Actually, I've heard them say sometimes they like Mulch in this matchup as well. You see, there's some pulverizes here. There's red lightning surges. Another one we saw that come out of a lot of the European lists as well. So this isn't just your extreme typical list from Starvo, but it's close. This is kind of most of the things you want here. Now, like you said, Isaac going to be attacking a lot early and as much as he possibly can. Justin Evans going to be trying to make as many rune hits as he can, survive as long as he can, and then try to have that big pop-off turn. Now, from my experience in this matchup, the rune chant count needs to be in the mid-20s. Anywhere from like 23 to 26 when you're going off to try to kill Isaac in that one turn.
All right, here we go. Right out of the gate, man. We're going to flash the hotness. That's a pulse and and completing it up there with the Autumn's Touch, I believe. And frankly, in this case, this is how you want to do. This is how you want to start it off. It's just go straight out to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Starvo activation from Isaac Krut here, and it does look like we have a judge call. So it looks like we need to fix a little something here.
No, this is a good opportunity right here is also to talk about the fact that one of those extra spice little hotness cards that we're talking about is exposed to the elements, which is not in this list. That's a card that a lot of players have gone ahead and included in that list as part of a tech, a threatening card, and we've seen not only how that card can be so important in terms of attacking the Skeletta and forcing your opponent in that Viserai list to pop it when they don't want to, which can really dictate how that game's going to end up. If you're forcing your opponent into playing their Skeletta early, they're not getting that kind of range that they may have wanted. If you get them on like 9 or 10 rune chance with the Skeletta, that is a far cry from that 20 to 25 range that they want to be.
Absolutely. And the reason we talk about that, the range of 24 to 25, is because you're going to need to do about 45, maybe even more damage to Bravo to kill them in one turn, right? Because they're going to have a lot of blues to pitch to stop the rune chance. They're going to be able to block a little bit with some of their shields and some of their equipment because you're not pressuring it on any other turn of the game. So you're going to have to push through a ton of damage that turn. I find that in the spot of the Starvo, if you have Starvo's ability in your hand when they're going off, you're supposed to kind of just like clench your butt cheeks and just like let's let it all happen and hope we could activate Starvo and kill him in the next turn.
That's quite a fitting reference after we just had Chipotle. So you're absolutely correct there. I'm not lying. That is exactly what you want to do here.
All right. It does seem like. Okay, so it was just a question about a card here from one of the players, making sure they get the right text on it, play around something at the right way. So we do have an activation of Starvo here, revealing Autumn's Touch. It's going to pitch to cast to play an Oaken Old here. Now, this is one of the cards that you need to be attacking with early and often in this matchup.
Well, part of the game plan here is that the vanilla damage that just leaks through is not really a concern for Viserai. They'll go down to 1 if it means that they'll be able to pull off what they want to pull off. But ultimately, the most important aspect here is holding onto your hand so you can build those rune chants on your off turns when you're soaking damage. And in this case, Oaken Old and Crippling Crush are so important in terms of just shutting down your opponent's resources.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to want to draw one of these every single turn. It looks like we got an early block from a Skeletta here, along with a card from hand. And the Grasp of the Arcanite's going to come in here as well.
And it's incredibly dangerous, like I mentioned, because if you do not know that Isaac is not running Exposed to the Elements, just dropping in.
The game could end right here, actually.
Absolutely,
yeah.
It could end right here. These are situations legit where if you do get the Skeletta, your opponent might just have to completely change gears. And if the deck is not built for that gear shift, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, full block out from Justin there with the defensive reaction. Also making another rune chant as well from that. So a huge attack from Isaac. The first big question asked in the game, and Justin came with a really, really good and correct answer here. Taking no damage, getting some more rune chants up to 4, but it does look like his turn is just going to be Arsenal and pass here. Not making any more rune chants. You definitely want to be trying to do as much as you can, as many rune chants as you can. Here you see the little shake of the head there from Justin. He's like, not the exact turn I wanted here, but I didn't lose all my cards to that Oaken Old. So it looks like Starvo ability back online and back over to Isaac here.
Yeah, Isaac's just showing another Pulse and another Earth card here in order to just go ahead and turn on the Starvo. And basically, again, it just pedal to the metal. And the beautiful part about this is since Justin's on the OTK plan, you can be patient. You can hold on to that pulse and create a little bit more reliability and consistency in terms of your fuses to have that consistent pressure turn over turn. Now, this is vanilla damage.
This is vanilla damage, still a lot of it, though. This is a 9 damage attack here from Red Autumn's Touch, and this is probably going to get followed up by an Icy Winter's Wail and Arsenals here. So while this might not be the big flashy attacks, and like you said, no one hits, so you can kind of assume this physical damage, still getting the job done if we get some damage through, because you want to try to get this life total as low as possible, because you want to force Justin into going off maybe when he's not comfortable or not, oh, I have it all wrapped up. It should be easy from here.
Yeah, Justin just giving a little head shake there. He's not really happy in terms of perhaps what the sequencing is, because obviously you know what's coming up here. And he asked again, what did you fuse? Show me what you had here. So he's just going to go ahead and block this out with the unmovable. I believe about 2 is going to leak through off of this block as well.
Now, Justin might not have as many ruin chances as he wants, as many proactive plays in the last couple turns as he wants, but he's doing a very good job of mitigating damage taken, because he's only down to 38 here, and Starvo's been activated twice this game.
I mean, you're taking stock. We've seen this in so many games of what the high-level players do. They know what those threats are. And in this case, Justin is saying, all right, I've seen an Okanold. There's 2 more. There's likely 3 Crippling Crushes. What else do I have to worry about? Well, perhaps a Spinal Crush. Perhaps maybe if he's paying attention, he knows that Isaac has played Mulch in the past, and that is another threat. So he has to keep track of what needs to be blocked, and this is why sometimes playing it unmovable against the vanilla damage is not necessarily the best option. Holding on to it to stuff an Okanold is often a better play.
Yeah, it looks like Justin's really unhappy with his hand here, too. We get another double block here from him, just blocking out more of that damage. Winter's Wail, that was a warm 4. We're going to make that stick, by the way.
The warm 4.
Yeah, no ice.
Coming in for a nice room temperature 4.
Yeah, exactly. No frostbite on hit here. So it looks like it was just an arsenal of pass here from Justin. We're back over to Isaac. Looks like he's still got that pulse in his hand. I see a Mulch, which isn't an Earth card itself. It needs to be Earth fused to be used. Really important card in this matchup. If you could ever catch one of the really important, something like Become the Arc Knight or something, one of those really big, impactful cards from Justin, you could swing a game really in your favor here. Now, Justin might be a 38 here. It's 38 to 40. Tons of damage has been thrown Justin's way. He's been able to answer it. The real thing that's important here, there's only 4 rune chance on that side.
That's what, again, I've mentioned this in the past, and we saw this in Austin Yost's game. It's not about paying attention to the life total for Justin. It's paying attention to the rune chant count, because that's a very good indicator as to when that's going to pop off. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit of a timer there, and eventually he's going to run out of runway in terms of when he can just kind of, take off with that rocket ship. But ultimately, you need to be at 20 plus to even have a sniff at getting this to pop off. And Justin is just not, unfortunately for Justin, I think that he's blocking out here because he needs to cycle cards and he's not finding what he needs.
It does feel that way. Now the Tunic up to 3. This is where the Starvo deck gets really, really good. And it looks like we're going to get Tunic for a little bit of resources here. And it looks like Mulch is going to get an attack here. I don't think we have the Earth card diffuse here, though. So this looks like a generic. Is that a red one? It looks like a generic 8.
That's a red one, right? That is one of the 2 Mulches that he's playing in. A very clutch card here. Now, it says if it was fused, there's an on-hit effect of basically blow up the arsenal. No fusion in this case.
Yeah, so no command and conquer effect here. Now, Justin is going to cycle through some more cards here. It does look like he's drawing a lot of his attack actions and no ways to... all filler and no thriller here, as I like to call it.
Hey, another Michael Jackson reference.
I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up, all right? It looks like we got a blink after the block here. Going to get that action point. It does look this is a cold 4 coming here, so this is going to be a frostbite on hit from Isaac Krut here. Only, I think 1 card left in Justin's hand here, so maybe going to mess up the turn just a little bit. And there's still that card left over for Isaac to Arsenal here. Really big, important thing to get those Arsenals in every turn.
Now, Blake is a card typically you'll see played oftentimes just to clear out auras for a lot of those Prism matchups. In this case, using it very effectively to come in, sneak in for damage, but also create that Frostbite, which is going to throw, pump the brakes on what Justin's plans were.
It's also just part of you need playable lightning cards for this deck, because a lot of the lightning cards are little cheap attacks. They don't really work out too well in the Starvo deck. In fact, Starvo can't even affect most of them.
Now, one of the fun parts about those lightning cards is that Isaac runs a red Lightning Surge, a card that's from the old Cheerios Briar's day, which can come through for another breakpoint and a free go again if played from Arsenal.
All right, speaking of Bravo, we've got Bravo, star of the show, activated yet again here. Isaac hit it about 75% this game, right where you want to be, but he's definitely more excited about the fact there's only 4 rune chance on the other side that we keep talking about. Now, this looks like a red Autumn's Touch that's coming in, so this is going to be attacking for 9. This is an enlightened strike that's blocking, but we're about to start taking a lot of damage here on Justin's side. Down to 26 here, 40 to 26. Isaac's life total, though, only going to matter on that one big turn that you keep mentioning.
Basically, and again, keep track of those rune chants, but ultimately, I've been watching Justin's body language. It's just he's not been happy at all. And when you're across the table from essentially this statue of stoicism, of just pure focus, somebody is so hard to crack. He is in full just hunt mode. Isaac he's hard to read. He's the ultimate, just poker face style player. You cannot look into his eyes and get any information.
I thought you were talking about John Wick there for a second. You're like, he's a man of singular focus. But yeah, all right, so we're down to 18 here from Justin Evans. The pulse, though, out of Isaac's hand, a little bit of a win, I guess, for Justin. No freebies here, but I'm actually not the biggest fan of making sure you keep the pulses in your hand, except for later in the game when you're trying to finish some stuff off. Now, this looks like this might be the start of a big turn here. Oh, boy.
Uh-oh, this is what he wanted. This is what he's looking for. Double Mordred Tide into read the runes. So he's doing the math here. Keep track of how much this is going to go. Now, this is a little creative accounting over here. Mordred Tide adding one. Anytime you add a rune chant, add one more. So add another one more Mordred Tide. Add a Viserai trigger on that. Add another card like Read the Runes that adds rune chants. Suddenly he's at 13. He was at 4 not 5 seconds ago.
Yep, now we're up to 13. Still a lot of work to be done, though. Probably to be at least comfortable, he needs at least about 10, 12 more really in this game to go off. So one more big turn like that might get Justin in a spot where he can win. Now, we do have a Seeds activation here. A little bit of filtering done by Issak Krut, making sure that his hands are going to be as good as possible. He's really in the spot now where he needs to be hitting as hard as possible every turn and trying to affect the hand if he can as well.
But that was, I think, the lifeline that Justin needed. Justin definitely needed a card, like a turn of double Mordred into something that generates rune chants.
He desperately needed that turn. I don't think you can mention enough how big that was for him. If he had another turn of maybe make 1 or 2 rune chants and filter, I don't think he was getting back into this game.
All right, so that's the first little domino to fall in terms of going towards Justin Evans' success in this matchup. You know what the next piece here is? He needs Isaac to have a handful of bricks. That's what he needs here. He needs a hand of 3 blue lightning cards. He needs to be able to have some breathing room, as here comes the flash now.
So what that's going to do is going to give go again to this attack, which is an Oakenol. Now, this is not a fused Oakenol. This is not a Starvard Oakenol. So this is just a 7 attack card here. But I like Isaac here. He's going to forego arsenaling a card most likely here because it looks like we're going to be attacking again after this, since Flash is going to give go again to the Oakenhold. So he's going to forego arsenaling to push more damage because he's seeing the writing on the wall that rune chance 13, a little bit of a scary number, for obvious reasons. And then he sees the life total down to 18 from Justin, so he's going to make sure that he pushes just enough here. He's going to have to start trying to make sure that Justin feels uncomfortable, maybe tries to go off a little too early in this game.
What's dangerous here also is that if Justin decides to take this because his hand is good, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to pop off next turn. It means that he has the setup turn that he needs in order to go crazy. He might have the Sonata in hand and another decent amount of cards to create another 8 rune chants, let's say, but apparently not, because he's given up the Enlightened Strike and a Swarming Gloomveil, which is a massive, massive card.
Yeah, I mean, just drawing a lot of these attack actions early in the game. That's going to block out for 6 here, so it looks like 1 damage is going to get across here for Justin.
Yep, 6 of the 7 is being blocked over here with the go again. Now, Isaac might be thinking, all right, if he doesn't like his hand, he's just going to block this hammer. But if he also doesn't like this hand, then I'm okay with him keeping it. But you know what? At this point, let's just buy the full hand. Maybe I sneak through. He's going to take 2. The lead, the charge is the option to block. Now,
it was a Cold Force that is going to get a Frostbite, but that's not really going to matter here. I think Justin's out of cards here, so it's just going to be here. You can have your Frostbite right back. I don't think he has, 1 card left, so it looks like it's going to be an Arsenal and pass here. You got to like seeing that from Isaac. You didn't push a lot of damage that turn, but nothing really happened here. You're kind of in a holding pattern, so you're back into a spot where you're going to get to push a lot of damage here.
This is going to be huge. You have a Starvo, a full Tunic, and an Art of War. So this is going to be potentially a huge turn because that Tunic is going to pay for the Art of War. So we'll see how this goes. Perhaps he chooses not to actually use the Art of War now. It might be an Arsenal option, which he will then play later on. But this Art of War, which not many Starvo players play, it's very much a point of debate. It's a draw card. It's a plus. It's a go again. It's a little bit of a fix-all if necessary. But paired up with that Tunic can be massive.
Absolutely. One of the most powerful generics in the entire game. A card that we saw very ubiquitous across a lot of classic constructed, but starting to see less and less plays. We get more and more cards to card pool. I'm liking the fact that, you have decks that still play it. It's still really good. It's still real powerful, but you don't have to play this in all of your decks anymore. I like that variety that's going on. So how does Justin want to deal with all this damage that's coming his way? It looks like we've got one block from hand.
Yeah, again, dominated is just one of those ways. Like, the fact that Starvo can just dominate like this just really pushes that damage through on decks that want to play defensive, which as this deck does want to do.
Yeah, it looks like we got another Cold 4 coming here. Frostfang getting pitched to the Winter's Wail. Threatening 4 damage, threatening a Frostbite on hit here. Justin trying to keep some cards in his hand. He's got, 3 cards left plus that Arsenal, maybe trying to get that one big turn together so he can try to get upwards of 20-something rune chance and maybe make something happen.
You gotta be starting something.
We're setting up for the Hail Mary here. We've had some football references here. Dale and Max in the room. We might be getting, hey, get the hands team on the field. Everybody just run that direction. I'm going to throw it as far as I can.
I wouldn't be a good Canadian if I didn't make a hockey reference, which we'll do over the course of the week, and I'll sneak one in at one point.
I will pull in the goalie.
That's what has to happen at that point. If you're sacking your Skeleton, that is pulling the goalie to a degree and going full offense here. But 13 rune chance, 10, and that's just not enough.
It's really not. I mean, it would have to be the most perfect Sonata of all time, and even with that, I don't know if it's enough because as you see at this equipment suite, you see the null rune boots up there. When all the rune chants go off, they're all instances of one form of arcane. So Isaac, if he has a bunch of blue sand, can just prevent everything if he wants to keep you from having a big turn, or he can just take all of it to the face.
Well, that's it. The key element there is what you said, if he wants, and if he's holding the right recipe to cook something up real nasty for Justin, he's just going to take it. And we've seen this in many different games where the player is essentially just doing the math and saying, I'm just going to eat this because I've got you next turn. But at this rate, I mean, Justin needs to start generating more rune chants. But the problem is Isaac has just been relentless.
Yeah, we see a block from hand here plus the Skullcap. That Skullcap probably needs to have a counter one. I think that Skullcap did get a block in here. And we have, one card from hand. It looks like it is going to get played. And so this is something that's going to set up for his next couple of turns. It's going to give him a rune chant at the beginning of his turn, every turn for the next 3 turns.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of an investment play. I'll pay now. It's like getting rune chants on layaway.
It's a little bit of a layaway here, but I don't know how you could see Justin's demeanor here. He's not happy about what's going on. He needed one of those early turns to be a lot better and a lot stronger.
It's insane. I think that Isaac in this point now is saying, I've got that Art of War and the Tunic, but I keep drawing all 3. So I don't need to use it. I don't need to use it to go ahead and find what I need at any point here. So, and oftentimes I've had discussions with other ProQuest winners like Raymond Chow from Canada to a degree, and he's mentioned that, Art of War can be played on your opponent's turn to filter your hand and find what you need. So here's the Art of War coming up, being played, and it's going to be a banishment of the Earth card. Draw 2, the mode selected, I would imagine, is possibly go again. I believe this is still Isaac's turn, if I'm not mistaken, or...
No, I think we might be still in Justin's turn because I don't think he has a card that he's arsenaling.
Yeah, okay. So here it is. This is the play. The Art of War is a great way to go ahead and create. Look how many cards he's got in hand here. Does he have everything he needs? I see a Crippling Crush.
I see an Ice card. I see an Earth card. Do we have the Lightning card? I can't quite make out which Pulse that is.
Well, we're going to find out.
If they're not being revealed already, I have to feel like this is a Earth Ice hand.
That's got to be true. I mean, sometimes when I have it with the pulses, sometimes it's important to show, to choose what you show.
True.
So he might be doing that, but I don't believe he has it. He might just have Ice Earth, and just all other. He just may have just missed the mark here. So this could potentially be just a Crippling Crush the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, it does look like it's going to be the old-fashioned Crippling Crush, full retail. Attack you for a lot.
Then this must feel bad for Isaac here, as he did make the right play with the Art of War on your opponent's turn. Look for the cards, because that Crippling Crush coming in for 11 is not a 13 dominate go again.
Now, it's not, but this is still very impactful, right? 11 is higher than 9. I'm that good at math,
whoa,
right?
Whoa. Hold on a second. I was going to say, I mean, are we doing the Canadian-American exchange? What's the deal here?
No.
Okay, keep going.
I don't want to deal with funny money. Your Monopoly money. All right, anyway. So it looks like we're going to get a huge block from Justin here. A lot of this armor is going to get in the way because we need to block as much as we possibly can to make sure this crush effect doesn't go on, because he absolutely needs to play some of these cards from his hand.
So that's a meet and greet blocking over there. Again, the hat's going to come in. The gloves are going to come in. So that's just going to be just enough to, I guess, reduce or to negate the crush effect. So he took, I believe, did he take 3 there?
Yeah, it looks like he took 3 down to 6. He's going to go up to, what is this, 14 rune chance. He's got a couple cards left in hand. All right, we got a Mordred. This might be the start of a big turn. Here we go, Sonata.
Sonata, that's not bad. The Arsenal could be the other Sonata, potentially.
Up to 16. All right, here we go. We might be... Might be onto something.
Yeah, so we're just going to do I believe we're just doing this with the 3 on top, and now here's Isaac looking through. Now, again, what is he looking for? He's seen the 2 prior Mordred Tides. He might be wondering if there's a Sonata already in there. Is the Sonata in the, in the Arsenal here? Is this the pop-off turn? It's completely possible. I would suspect unlikely. He does find the meet and greet. That's a good one. That's a go again.
That's a go again. Meet and greet, good find here. He's going to get to keep going with this turn. This is going to deal an arcane damage to Isaac as well. Not a insurmountable thing. It's not an insignificant thing that does deal 1 damage over to Isaac Krut, which does he want to use his Crown of Seeds here?
These matchups here, Tannen, I mean, they look so lopsided. It's 40-6. And if for the casual person just tuning in and saying, like, oh, this is an absolute massacre barn burner, you do not understand how this can change in the blink of an eye. It's 40-1 now, and then it'll essentially, or it's 40-6 now, and it'll be like 6-6 at the end of, potentially at the end of Justin's turn.
It does look like Isaac's going to go ahead and start his turn with, start his defense of this turn with a Crown of Seeds.
No, I think I believe he just pitched to absorb the arcane.
Right. No, that's actually better because, if Rosetta Thorn happens this turn, you can kind of stack that with Crown of Seeds when there's an instance of 2 that you need to get. And here you go. There's that second Sonata.
Yep, the Sonata is online over here. Again, he's just doing the count for the Mordred Tide, etc. So I believe it should be 3 or 4 added because of the Mordred Tide here. Yeah. So we're all the way up to 18, and this looks much better for Justin.
Now we're up to 18. This needs to be one of the better Sonatas I've ever seen. Although, because we've got Isaac at a full 40. He's got a couple blocks left on his equipment. He's got a Rampart. He's already got resources in the pool ready to go. He's going to be able to make sure that he survives this turn and attacks Justin most likely, but we'll see. I've seen crazier things happen in Flesh and Blood. Let's see if Justin can get out of this.
So 4 coming in as a package deal. So it's not 4 instances of 1 like the rune chance would be. But here, Isaac's doing the right thing. He's taking note of what's coming through here and what did he find. How many of these cards that are revealed have natural go again or the go again ability to them? How many of them are, let's say, meet and greets or swarming gloom veils, etc.? So he's taking a good look here, wondering what the full reach is of this hand. How many with all, the smoke and mirrors and rabbits being pulled out of a hat, how much can you string together? Because like we mentioned earlier, this might be one of those situations where he just takes it, like you said earlier, and just comes back with a good hand.
Just points at his face right here. I'll take it all. But one thing that is in Justin's favor here is don't forget that Mordred Tide is still there. It's still going on this turn. So
that's a great point. Absolutely. You're getting a little extra sauce off of each extra Runeblade card that you play because of Viscerai's abilities. So every additional attack is essentially 1 extra. That's huge.
Yeah, let's see how huge it's going to be. This is going to be a tall order for Justin. Isaac at 36. Let's see what we can do. Impress us, Justin.
I think this is going to get pretty naughty before it gets comfortable for Isaac. Both players at 5-0. Justin, again, the poise. We saw a little bit of frustration leak through on camera, a little bit of that body language suggesting that he wasn't happy with the way that the game was going early. However, now it is all in his favor. This is what he wanted.
If you've ever been a racehorse enthusiast, this is the most exciting 3 minutes in Flesh and Blood. It's like generally one of the longest turns you'll ever see in Flesh and Blood is the Sonata, Arcanix, Bloodseas turns that go on with this deck because all their other turns are super easy, right? But they're also the most exciting turns because they deal so much damage.
I thought you were just going to say, if you've ever been a racehorse. I thought you were going to end it there. But it's like literally, it's like the last 3 minutes of a basketball game that lasts 20 minutes. Right. This is kind of how it goes, right? But to answer your question, no, I have never been a racehorse. Though, but I eat like one. But still, here we go. Like you mentioned, such a huge turn. Double Sonata Arcanix, the Mordred Tide, just like as the foundation to really get extra reach on this turn. I have never been a racehorse. All right, so lots of thoughts being put through here. Justin Evans on 5.
All right, I'm back.
You're back. Okay.
You broke me for a little while.
I just want to make sure you've gone through all the barnyard animals that I am or am not. Oh, here it comes. So here's the big push, Tannen.
Okay, so the first attack that's going to happen here has an instance of 18 arcane damage. So here we go. It's the first one with 6 Rune Chants behind this in tow. Now we do have, on Isaac's side, 2 resources floating here, but I kind of like this. Just 18? Yeah, I got that. Let's go. What's next?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, that's half of, that's basically cutting Isaac's total in half over here, and that's just off of, like, the bonus round, essentially, as it were, right? Like, that's just the extra sprinkles.
Now, when you see this, is Isaac just trying to make sure he can keep as many cards in his hand as possible in this kind of turn?
Yeah, in these scenarios that I've been against these OTKs, and I've played against some very good OTK players, ultimately what you're seeing is, can I maintain the Starvo Fuse, and if not, can I maintain a Hammer Swing? That's usually what you're getting to here. So that's, I believe to a degree, that's what he's looking to do here. But he's already at 18, and Justin Evans, I believe it's still his turn. He's still sort of piecing together his game plan here.
Yeah, it does look like this might be a block for 3 off this Autumn's Touch. Now, that is a red Autumn's Touch, so being able to convert a red into 3 life here, big exchange.
Yeah, typically in these scenarios, being able to block out the 3 is a great thing, but you want blues for the most part.
I think I caught a glimpse of Isaac's hand. I think I see Starvo activation in his hand. I think I see an Ice, Earth, and Lightning card in his hand with a decent attack. Not a, Oakenol or anything absurd, but definitely with one of the, what is that? It looks like a Break Ground as well, so that would be 9 dominated with Evans at 6. Now, Evans can probably survive that, but what kind of resources is he going to have left over if we get to that point?
Ultimately, that you're absolutely right there, because a 9 dominate is a tall order, because how much more equipment does he have to block with?
And it's important to note that Isaac has that in his hand, because we kind of set, we were talking about this at the beginning of the cast, where we were talking about the big pop-off turn. If you're not going off for enough, if you're not starting with those 20, 24, 25 Rune Chants, Isaac can ignore most of it, keep what he needs in his hand to make one big attack, and then you're never getting tempo back in this game as the Viscerai player.
Yeah, you go down the list, and in this case, 18 is just on that sort of
cusp.
Exactly, it's in that gray area. So Isaac has to say, okay, can I keep my whole 4-card hand so I can swing twice and Arsenal? If that's not the case, can I keep a 3-card hand so that I can Starvo Fuse and swing twice? And after that, the game plan is, can I just swing Hammer? And that's the thought process he's going through here. But that's 6 Rune Chants coming in with a 4 attack associated with it.
Yeah, it looks like a Rune Flash coming in for 4 with another 6 attached to it with those Rune Chants. So that's 10. That would leave Isaac with 8 life points after this, and there's 2 resources, 2 cards. Do you think, if you're Isaac, that there's another 10 behind this that you can't do something about? I'm wondering if Isaac's thinking, it does look like he's thinking about reacting to this in some way, but I'm wondering if you're supposed to just shrug this off.
I would shrug this off. Now, but keep in mind, that Mordred Tide has done work. That Mordred Tide basically was the start. It was chapter 1 of this horror story.
So big for this turn.
Massively. And that Rosetta's coming in for 2, 2, and 2 coming through. So that's 16. Now, that's still not enough for Isaac. And Isaac is aware, but there are, I believe, still Justin's still wearing his blue suede shoes, and he's already about to moonwalk all up and down Isaac's ass in this one. So
much Michael Jackson.
I was about to say. Ultimately, though, it feels like Isaac is fully aware, and now it's just a matter of just making sure that there isn't any kind of funny business that could come through and get him.
Yeah, so Isaac does get another card out of his hand. Looks like a Break Ground got used for some resources. I think there's 1 resource floating here, so it looks like we got a block from a Crater Fist. Taking, I think about 2 pieces of damage here. The Crater Fist blocking for 2.
So far, Isaac's
been
doing.
13.
Yeah, he's been doing this very well. He's practiced this matchup, I would imagine, at least dozens
of times,
easily dozens and dozens of times against very good players. So he's aware where that Rune Chant breakpoint is. 20 plus is typically the danger zone in this case, but I think that everything changed when that Mordred Tide started this off, because it just added what Justin was otherwise lacking prior to that.
Justin could have had this turn without a Mordred Tide and still done most of the things that he's doing this turn, but everything would have been significantly worse. Mordred Tide was the real straw that stirred this drink this turn.
Exactly. Look where that is. So how many Runeblade cards were played after that, and how many Rune Chants is that Mordred Tide now responsible for? It is impressive how opening with Mordred Tide into these massive explosion turns, how big of an impact that card is.
That's higher than I can count, Flake.
Do the Canadian exchange.
Where's it? Anybody get an abacus? I need an abacus.
How old are you, man?
Yes. It's debatable, but it's a lot.
Tan and Grace's watch is a sundial.
How old are you, Tannen? Yes.
Yes, that's it. So here it comes again. Issak Krut, though, 13 points. A lot of the story has been written in this attack sequence for Justin, and it doesn't seem like he's, the end is in sight. You see Mordor, but that ring is getting heavy, buddy.
No Frodo here to help him carry it. Or Sam, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
No. I think my geek street cred, all my nerd credits.
Now you bet you wish I was a racehorse.
I gotta stop trying to keep up with you with the pop culture references because I never can, and I just make an idiot of myself on these things. But all right, it does look like we're gonna have another activation, I'm guessing, of the Null Rune boots here to prevent some of this damage. Looks like Issak Krut down to 11. Is that last card in Just Name? It's another free attack. Yep, it's one of those meet and greets.
Let's go again, though. That's huge. Plus, it's another Rune Chant card for another with the Mordor.
Yeah, we still have a resource. Oh, I was going to say, I thought we had a resource floating here for the Rosetta Thorn here, but this does look like this is going to be 4 and 2. So it's going to be 6 from Issak. And this is going to be a block from hand plus the Rampart.
Okay, so what Isaac's doing now is he's basically maintaining a swing for you could pitch 3 and attack with your Earth card, but I don't believe that's what Isaac's going to do. I think Issak wants to swing with the hammer and drop an arsenal.
I have to say, I think Issak has no hand here.
Oh, you're right. There's no hand there. That's my bad. Exactly. So ultimately here, though, Issak does manage to skitter away out of this one with 9 health, and ultimately Justin's massive turn. Dunzo. It's done, and it's back to square one. And he's done a lot of work. He's put in 31 points of damage, but Justin he's got it. It's basically the House of Cards has fallen. It's time to start rebuilding.
Right, let's see if he can get anything going this turn. Tempo back in his favor at least a little bit here. He's up to 3 Rune Chants here. He's got an actual hand to go along with here. No more setup, like you said, besides those 3 Rune Chants, but he can see the finish line a little bit. Issak at 9 here. This is doable from Justin. I've seen people come out of worse here, and I asked Justin to impress us earlier, and he's almost there.
Yeah, I asked Justin to impress us earlier, and he sang Britney Spears, which was also pretty good. But still, this is also impressive. But nonetheless, I'm telling you right now, I think Issak looking through that graveyard, I believe he's just saying, how many Sonatas, how many Mordor Tides have I seen? Those engine pieces. Like that's the fuel in the furnace for that Viserai list.
Checking for Swarming Gloomveils, any of the big attacks that are really important here. You definitely want to make sure you can kind of gauge how big of a turn Justin can have from here, because I do think Isaac's going to have to walk a razor's edge here for the rest of the game, because he's going to have to play a little defensively and block, but he's also got to prevent some damage. Speaking of Swarming Gloomveil, we see one brought back here with that Rattlebones. Yeah,
if he's going to walk the razor's edge, he's got to be the bad guy here. That's what happens. And it's coming through as it's Rattlebones into Swarming Gloomveil, a 4-3 Rune Chant Chaser on this one. That's going to be tough to swallow for Issak, but again, he did a really good job of identifying the fact that maintaining life points early will mean that he will eventually find the grip he needs to come through. But 4 and 3 and go again, that's dangerous.
And if Justin can somehow cobble this win together from what seemed like a hard spot, that would truly be dreams coming true.
Nice.
I tried to keep a straight face.
I like it. It's all good. The problem here is that Issak, I believe, has an Art of War in hand, right? And that is a situation that I feel at this juncture in the game, it doesn't block for anything, but it can be pitched to absorb some Rune Chants. So he's wondering, has that ship sailed? He's running 3 Art of Wars. He's played 1. The Tunic can come online next turn for him to help out. So he might actually hold on to it, because it might just be that extra acceleration on that turn, that extra filtering to get the Starvo to close this one out.
It does look like we're going to add some resources here. Looks like we're going to prevent the Rune Chants with the Null Rune Boots, so this 4 is still coming in from physical. Does Issak want to do a block here? It does look like he does. Looks like this is going to be a mulch for the block. Ooh, wait, maybe not.
He's just saying, hey, seen this card, buddy?
A little bit of a balk.
Exactly. Advance the runner. In this case, he's pitching the blue, absorbing the Rune Chants, because you don't know if let's say there's a meet and greet after there. If arcane damage was done, meet and greet gets go again. I think he's trying to just prevent any option to make this a wider turn.
All right, looks like we're going to pitch that Art of War for resources here, floating 1, so we can activate the Rampart to block fully here. Now, this looks like a Skrill of Skull form, attacking for 5 and 1 from Rune Chants. Justin, you are almost there doing the impressive stuff. Let's see this.
Yeah, the frustration that he exhibited earlier on is now turned into this razor focus. Look at him. He's just in a different mindset. You see him kind of just sitting up, examining the cards. He's a lot more confident in how he's playing. It seems like he's a little bit more engaged. Like he knows that he's turned a corner here. He found what he did. He's now buying Isaac's hand every single turn. He's giving himself a window to connect for damage.
Yeah, it looks like a pulse is going to get used here as well, and that's going to be all of Isaac's hand. Taking a little bit of damage down to 7 here, but this is going to be draw up to 4. But draw up to 4 and pass here, but he is getting that tunic up to 3, so maybe there's a turn here where he can keep a card, or maybe even use that tunic to prevent that one crucial damage to kind of turn the tempo back that Justin's had over these last 2 to 3 turns. Justin going to go ahead and make a rune chant.
That's a lot of lightning in Isaac's hand, and I mean, better players than I have told me, you know, anybody can fuse an Okanold, but it's when you have a handful of lightning and how you play it, that's when you know that you're a better player. The way that I sort of equate Starvo to is Starvo's like an F1 car. Anybody can get in there and jam the straightaway at 300 miles an hour. It's how you angle the corners that really dictates if you win the race. And in this case, it looks like, Justin has been doing a masterful job, but it's how Isaac handles this turn. The good news is that if there's damage coming through, that's a lot of blues that can soak up arcane damage, so that's helpful in that regard.
Looks like a rune flash for 5 here with 3 rune chants behind and another one left behind as well from Viserai. There's a resource floating here, still some cards left over in Justin's hand. Isaac's got to be feeling the pressure here. Now, with this kind of hand, is this one of the ones where he's going to have to be very defensive?
Of course, that's 4 lightning cards in there. I mean, let's be real. Unless he's Pikachu, that's not really going to help him out in any kind of way. But he is really just wondering here. This is going to be another turn where he's like, if I can get away with this with 1 card in my arsenal, I feel good because at least my crown can soak the extra damage off Rosetta. He wants to get out of this with 1 card in hand, and that I think he would feel is successful. But the question is, does he swing with the hammer on that turn? I don't think so, because it's not threatening in ice, and Justin's at 6 life.
Yeah,
so
Justin might be able to just absorb the hammer, just take it, and then come back with a full hand and push the rest of the damage.
He could, but there's still the argument that Justin might block because a dominated Starvo ends the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you start to get down below like 5 and 4, it makes it almost impossible for you to stop any kind of dominated attack out of Isaac's deck. But when you're getting these blocks, it's something you don't really have to worry about as much, though.
Oh, this is what a game this has been, Tannen. I mean, like we mentioned, it seems so lopsided, and then the game just goes from sort of, you know, it's the extra innings, so to speak. You know, that's when it matters. It's that second phase of the game after the Sonata Skelletta push that really dictates how this game is going to be. You know, where the real players are.
Yeah, Isaac doing a little bit of pitching here to make sure he can stop some arcane damage. He's going to use that Rampart to stop a little bit of physical here.
No hand for Isaac.
Yeah, no hand again for Isaac. I think you pointed this out, and this is really important, the fact that Isaac hasn't really had an arsenal card for what feels like 4 or 5 turns to me, and you're seeing how just important that is for these Bravo Star of the Show decks. We've been seeing its praises all day long, how good Tunic versus Seeds is, but if you never can arsenal a card, then it's almost like your Seeds doesn't exist. So let's see if Justin could do another big turn here. He got through a little bit of damage there. Isaac Krut down to 5, but on his heels here from Justin's just relentless attacks over the last couple turns, really turning a game that looked almost unwinnable to him to a game that's really in his favor now.
It's amazing how the tables have turned here, where Justin was just waiting for Isaac to stumble, finding that window to be able to push back, and now Isaac's on the other foot. Isaac's like, I just need you to have one bad turn, just one bad turn, so I can keep at least a card, so I can swing with hammer and arsenal a card. That's all I need, and I'm back in this, because that Tunic has been rotting over there with 3 counters on it. The Crown has been wondering why it's been left at the bus stop, and now it's just Isaac wondering when he can find an opening to make some hay. So Justin's just kind of looking through that hand here. Isaac, again, waiting for an opening. It has been really difficult for both players, but I feel like Justin is, like, the confidence plus the momentum here can really turn this. So here's a lead to charge. This is a big one. Again, gaining action points is going to be clutch.
Yeah, because this Swarming Gloomveil is not going to have... Oh, actually, yeah, it would have go again because of the Rune Chant.
Mm-hmm. That was played because it's a non-attack action, right? So being able to follow that up with the Swarming Gloom Veil means that the Viserai creates the rune chant, giving the go again. So it's not necessarily to lead the charge for the card text, but merely the type of card that was played.
Right. Also helps out with this Rosetta Thorn attack as well. Rune chant attack. I'm sorry. Rosetta Thorn attack. Arcane for 2, physical for 2, and an arcane for 1. Like we said, it's very important to understand the difference between arcane for 2 and 1. The 1 can be prevented by the Null Rune Boots. The 2, only one of that can be prevented because it's a single instance of 2. You would need a Crown of Seeds plus an Arsenal card to be able to take both of that. So at least one of this damage is getting through for sure.
Yeah, it's a package deal, and you need that. This is where the Crown would be immensely helpful, and also the timing of the Crown, because a lot of players will just immediately react with Crown to the first instance of damage. But saving the Crown for that Rosetta swing is important. But Isaac hasn't had an Arsenal since Easter, so it doesn't even matter at this point.
So it does look like he's going to prevent the Rune Chant, one of the 2 Arcane from the Rosetta Thorn here with the Autumn's Touch. The last resource is going to activate the Rampart, and here what we're seeing is Isaac taking a little bit of a risk. He's going to take a little bit of damage here just so he can keep a couple cards in his hand, Flake.
That's the window you need. That's what you need. And if it's a fused hand, that is massive, because that's damage that's going to connect without any equipment to support it. But I like this. This is good. This is a break point of 4. There are no more pieces of equipment to just sort of close that extra gap. A 3, it's a 2-card block, and unless he has, I wonder how many more reduced to rune chance he has. It's possible to block this one out if you're Justin. But ultimately,
I know we've seen 1 for sure this game. I don't remember if we've seen a second or third.
So Isaac may have been also just kind of peeking through the graveyard to see, just keep track of these important cards. But if this is what Isaac wants here, is a 2-card block. Give me 2 cards, or block, take a Frostbite. That's just extra pitch. I'm okay with that. I'll sneak through with some damage. What he's most dying for here is that Arsenal card. That card upside down under Starvo that could pair up with the Tunic and the Crown to make a 5-card hand and soak some damage, and then Isaac's back to the races.
Yeah, and so this is the big important turn for Isaac, like you've been saying. Anything that he gets from Justin here, he's happy with. If he gets the Frostbite, that's cool. You'd like to get a couple cards out of his hand, or at least 1 card out of his hand, but getting that Arsenal card set up so important here. You've really seen, I don't know if I've seen a better example of how important the Arsenal is than the last, 7 turns of this game.
It's been immensely suspenseful, to say the least, as both players are really, you know this, I know this, being in that position where really the game's up in the air. One misstep and it's all over. You feel that. It just breathes down your neck. It's tangible.
Yeah, these are the games that make champions. These are the games that win you tournaments. You know, the winner of this one's going to go to 6-0, obviously. You know, both these guys have made day 2, but there's a lot more on the line. They want to go into that day 2 with a perfect record. They want to start pushing for that top 8. You know, they're both playing exceptionally well. Great decks. You got to see the pace of play slow down a little bit here to make sure we don't want to make even the smallest mistake here, because 1 extra damage taken here, 1 thing done incorrectly can spell doom in a game this close. This is like the basketball game innings we talked about. You know, the first 30 minutes takes 30 minutes, but the last 5 minutes could take an extra 30 minutes as well.
All right, so the hammer is still presented for 4 with the ice. I think what it is right now is Justin saying, okay, I don't mind taking damage, but he's presenting a 2-card block here.
Yeah, it looks like he's really, really thinking this one over, Flake. It looks like he doesn't want to, but he feels like he needs to.
Well, the reason is, I think, is that even if he takes any damage, a 9-card dominated Autumn's Touch wins the game, and he needs to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, I think that's super important. That's a really, really good one to point out. Now, we won't be seeing Starvo in the next turn for Isaac either. I see an attack in his hand plus an Art of War.
So more rune chance to read the runes, follow with the lead the charge, opening that up purely just to create more Starvo-related abilities. It's a yellow read the runes, creating 2. The Viserai ability creates an additional 1, and there's no go again on the read the runes. It's just a setup turn. That's all it is. It's create 2 rune chance, bada bing, bada boom. That's all it is, but that's the turn. And this is the opening Isaac needed, because he knows that if he doesn't close this out now, it could get ugly. Like they said when I was born, it's going to get ugly. Tannen?
I got nothing on that one. All right, Isaac taking his time, really deciding what he wants to do here. Does he want to activate his Crown? He's got a Tunic sitting around. Does he have a card in his hand that he's willing to get rid of? Lots of things here just to contemplate. How does he want to navigate this turn? How does he want to set up his own turn for his next attack as well? Because I think he can start to see the writing on the wall. This is what he needed. You talked about it. Just give me that one turn where I'm not being put in check.
That's it. Give me. It started. It's literally started with holding on to that one card that he could pitch for hammer. Bought 2 cards out of Justin's hand, and now he's got a full grip. It's a whole different story. So it's been such a masterfully played game on both ends. It seems like it's still. Is it still to Isaac here?
Yeah, we're back over to Isaac here. No seeds. The Tunic still at 3, and it looks like we're going to pitch Artivore. Is this going to be a multiple attack turn with Artivore?
So he's banishing, looks like a Spinal Crush.
Yeah, he's going to draw 2 cards here.
So more cards in hand. Again, we're past that point where he can fuse the Starvo, so that's not there. There's no Starvo ability online, so there's going to be no Dominate occurring.
All right, we're for sure in Isaac's turn now, right? We're not at the end of Justin's turn. I think we are at Isaac's turn. Yeah, because he pitched a card here, so we're definitely on Isaac's turn. Okay.
Yeah, we're on Isaac's turn. There's 2 floating. Also, I believe you're drawing 2 cards here, but you have to declare the mode ahead of time. So you got to take the risk. Is +1 what I want, or is the go again what I want? And I think the go again is what he wants here. So the first attack that he's going to play is going to have go again. But now he's thinking. He did show Channel Lake Frigid. So Channel Lake Frigid for 2. There's already an ice card in there, so it's going to pass the channel check.
Yeah, let's see what kind of offense Isaac is going to bring this turn, because you got to believe he wants to make it at the least a hammer attack here.
Yeah, that's
red Autumn's Touch, it looks like.
No, it's that's the yellow, because he's got to pitch the Tunic on that. I believe it's the yellow. He does run 3 yellow Autumn's Touches.
Yeah, this is an evergreen from Arsenal as well. When this one gets done, it's going to go to the bottom of the deck. If we get down that far, this evergreen will be coming back.
Keep in mind that Art of War mode that was selected, go again. And that is representing 7. Again, those breakpoints, the 4s, the 7s, they're nasty to deal with.
Oh, it looks like we got an unmovable here from Justin Evans. Huge.
Massive. And now here's a decision that Isaac needs to make, is that how important is that hammer right here? I think the Arsenal is much more important than swinging hammers, so that go again. I mean, sure, it was great, but the fact that unmovable just stuffed that evergreen.
And yeah, talking about stuffed, Isaac is going to sit back in his seat because his offense was completely stuffed this turn. And I've got to agree with you. Isaac is definitely a better player than I am. He's going to figure this one out, but that Arsenal might be so important next turn. We see those, you're staring down those 3 rune chants. If Rosetta Thorn comes online, yeah, you're going to see him. He's going to make the tough decision here. He has another action. He can go again here, but it does look like he's going to Arsenal. Oh, he doesn't want to do it. This is such a hard spot.
It's also, there was, I'm trying to think how many. So there's 2 cards in the pitch. Justin has 1 card in hand. Can he even play that card because of the Channel Lake Frigid? I think you just go ahead and Arsenal it, because you know that the next turn is going to essentially be, I don't want to say worthless, but it's going to be dampered by the fact that you're within this frosty environment that's really going to make for an less than ideal pitch sequencing that you want over here. This could just be a pitch for Rosetta, unless there's something that's in the arsenal that costs 2 or something that he could then pitch a blue for. But I think Isaac just has another turn coming up, and if he finds what he needs, if he can summon Captain Planet with all 3 elements, he's on there. He needs the Infinity Stones though.
So is that what Justin's thinking about here? Like, maybe I have to make any attack that I possibly can here to get cards out of his hand?
Okay, well, it's not just if he's got an attack action card here. It's coming in also with the. I mean, he could any attack, the Rosetta, an attack action. It comes with 3 points of Rune Blade, of Rune Chant.
Was Justin it looks like Justin might just be passing, doing nothing here.
What's in the hand there? I see ice, I see lightning, and earth. I think is that a blink?
That's a blink. So I think we're going to see a activation of the Crown of Seeds here, because I think Justin went to end of turn and trying to draw a new hand here. So it does look like we're going to get the seeds here. Can he activate Starvo with a big attack here?
What we also need to keep an eye on is that turn timer. 6 minutes and 40 some odd seconds left in this game. That could be immense. As we noticed, like I think there was 20 minutes left in the game, and the life totals were very similar. These games can really come down to the crunch time.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to play another Channel Lake Frigid here. Activate Winter's Wail attack.
This is a good turn. This is a good turn. Any defense reactions right now have the 2-point tax on it, and one of those Channel Lake Fridges will survive the channel check to go and give Isaac some more leeway next turn to, just kind of damper what Justin was looking to do.
It's also going to leave him with a card in Arsenal as well at the end of turn, another spot they're doing. There's one of those defensive reactions. It's going to make a Rune Chant, prevent 4.
He has to pay for that.
Yeah, let's say.
Oh, well, minus the Rune Chance. Okay, so there is a...
Sure.
Yeah, so it comes in for 1, plus 2, minus 3. It's basically a freebie, and it does go ahead and stack those Rune Chants again. So now he's at 4. Isaac, he's doing what he has to do here. It's working out. He still has the arsenal, but there has been almost no progress made in these attacks. Isaac is desperately hunting for all 3. He wants that 3-piece meal.
All right, well, we got a start of a turn here. That's a rattle bones from Justin. Let's see how he's going to play this.
Oh, go again with that Swarming Gloomveil.
Meet and greet getting pitched. Swarming Gloomveil getting cast. This is an attack.
Is that I believe that's a blue meet and greet, if I'm not mistaken. There should be 2 floating here.
Yeah, we got a Rune Chant
back
in the layaway as well. So we got attack for 3 with 4 Rune Chants here.
Yeah, 2 floating. That means you're going to get a swing with that Rosetta.
And it's going to be the 2-2 variety as well. So depending on how Isaac plays this turn, he might have to save this crown to be able to take care of one of that extra arcane. This is a tough spot for Isaac here. You have to really walk a tightrope of blocking plus preventing. So it looks, all right, there we go. Crown of Seeds is going to get activated right away. So we've got a shield put up.
So there's a pitch that's done. You've got 2 floating. You could, if you want to, drop in with the Rampart. 3 is 3. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not bad. It's got to go again where necessary.
So there's all the arcane. All the arcane has been prevented. Looks like we're going to have a block for 3 from hand. This leaves him a resource left over for that Rampart to be able to block some of the Rosetta Thorn, though.
Well, he's going to pitch another card. I think he's, at this rate, I think he might be happy to hold on to. I think he's got 2 cards in hand. He might just be happy to block or pitch to block a few things. It's just such an awkward situation here because, again, the power of Rosetta Thorn coming in as a 2-2.
2-2 and 1.
Yeah.
Let's say we got the extra 1 here. It's got a little tag along.
Look at Justin. Justin has been just, what a change of pace. This has been such a good game. I know that we talked about the Lexi game that was so awesome to cast and watch. This is just on a similar level. Don't forget, he still has a tunic that he can block with. He still has a point of Crater Fist.
Yeah, it looks like he's holding on to that for dear life as well, just like he is in this game. He's down to 2. Justin at 6, but Justin out of Rune Chants here. That's important to know for next turn. No Rune Chants set up.
As we go on here, that clock is ticking down 10 and 3 minutes left. And really, what have we seen in the past 10 minutes? 1 point of damage on Isaac Krut.
This game has been gritty. So we're back over to Justin here. Let's see what he can muster up.
All right, we're starting off. There's the Swarming Gloomveil, creating another Rune Chant as well. So the aura created with that means that that Swarming Gloomveil will come with a nice little go again action.
Yeah, it's attacking for 5, it seems like here, plus a Rune Chant. Putting Isaac to the test yet again.
No doubt. No doubt. We're going to go ahead and pitch. We have 2 going. I think he's just going to eat that Rune Chant with the Null Rune Boots. 2 floating. Now it's just 5. I'd say just 5. When you're at 2, that is a naughty number to deal with.
Yeah, and the Crater Fist might have to come out to play here, but no, it looks like it's going to be a double block from hand.
Double block from hand, and boy, oh boy, these are the kinds of turns where remember the good old days of playing cards for 0 that had go again. That whole thing, when you got to pay for cards, it feels so much more, cumbersome when you're trying to parse out what your turn's going to look like. When things cost things.
Oh, this is a big attack here from Justin. This is a 7 power. And a Rune Chant as well.
Yep, and so he's going to eat the Rune Chant, I believe, with the 1 floating. That he's got 1 left as well to activate the Rampart of the Ram's Head. So that's 1. Now, the question is what does Isaac have in his hand? Are they 2 blocks? Are they 3 blocks? That's kind of nasty here.
Yeah, this Shrill of Skull form coming in for 7 this turn. Very, very good attack. It's like a double block from hand plus the Crater Fist. Going to block it all out.
All right, so all of this equipment now is just getting tossed away. We have one that has been absorbed also by the crown as well. The crown has absorbed some. The tunic now at 1. That could potentially factor in. However, Isaac, remember we mentioned how important it is to have an arsenal in this matchup. And right away, Justin's going to go reload, just check out what's going on, and possibly come through. 45 seconds left in this game. This could close it out.
Yeah, Justin's getting low on cards, but I think we're going to get to that. Looks like this might be one of the last. This might be Justin's last turn.
It certainly will be Justin's last turn. I mean, if it goes to time, the way that this works is the player who's...
it seems like they are getting a +1 minute judge call as well. I'm being told from my director because of the judge call at the early point of the match. So a little bit of extra time added here. That is very crucial.
Building up those rune chants.
Yeah, we're up to 2.
So pitch for 3 with the Grasp of the Arknight. Now you're just coming in for 2 and 2. It's not the standard Rosetta 2 and 2 because there was nothing really played ahead of this.
This is the hard work 2 and 2.
Damn right. It's the beautiful part about this is the fact that those rune chants are cutting up that arcane into 2 pieces, right? So a little bit easier to digest when the pieces are smaller.
It does look like we got a block here. Card from hand. A quick turn from Isaac. I like this. Play this quickly as possible. This looks like a cold 4 coming in.
No. Absolutely, absolutely, and this also preserves an arsenal should it factor in.
Should be able to double block from hand from Justin here. Arsenal pass. We got 40 seconds left. These players are playing as quickly as they possibly can here. So we got to lead the charge. Oh,
whoa!
Slow down. Hold up.
We're at that part right now where both players want to. They know that they're up against. Not only they're a worthy opponent, but also the clock here. And this is where experience will also factor in, where reps come in. You look at your hand, and that muscle memory kicks in. Or I'm going XYZ.
Yeah, that's a Spellblade Strike there. I think attacking as well as making a couple of rune chants behind it, plus the abilities. I think we have 3 rune chants behind this.
They were made, I believe they were made behind it, so there's no rune chants yet, and kaboom, here it comes. This is the nasty part.
Now, there is an Arsenal card here, so there is possibly a way for Isaac to get out of this, but...
So I believe since the time expired on Justin's turn, what occurs in this case is basically Isaac will then get the next turn, and that will be the final turn. But if Isaac has no cards, you can't do anything.
Right, so what we're representing here with Justin with all the dice is he's got 3 individual counts of 1 from Rune Chants. He's got 2 physical from the Rosetta Thorn, and 2 more of 1 instance of Arcane here, and that's where it gets tricky for Isaac here. We talked about the dance that you have to make with the Crown of Seeds plus the boots to be able to get rid of one of those 1 instances of 2.
I mean, it's possible here. You need to pitch a blue to eat the 3 damage from the original. From the Rune Chants. You need a 2 block for the Rosetta, and then you need another pitch for the. You could. I mean, you also have a Ram's Head. There's so much going on here, but the most important part is that this is the last turn of the game.
Yeah, Crown activation here. Then we got a pitch to make sure that those original Rune Chants are gone. Now we've got a pitch for more resources.
So much going on in this game, and just to see where we've come, because at a certain point this game was so lopsided.
It looks like a block, and then we got some more pitch to deal with the arcane damage here as well. I'm not sure if Isaac took a damage here this turn. It doesn't look like it, but yeah, it looks like they're going to be taking the. I was going to say they have to take the draw here, right?
Yeah, it's essentially what occurs over here. Again, like we mentioned.